Yes, Linda Fujino, who's our first vice president and overseer of most things.
So this is Black History Month, and so that's the speech. I gave a small one at the local NAACP like about a week and a half ago. So this one I turned into a bit of a slideshow, and our city is very old, so there's a lot of history going on here. So here we go. So I'm going to start in 1887. We're a year away from becoming our cityhood and only 4 years away from being Rancho La Laguna. And so this is kind of what your outskirts look like. There's a big photograph in the museum, and then up around you'll see different photographs and different times of cityhood. Okay. Our first African American family. In 1887, William Charles Reeves Burgess will arrive in Elsinore from Missouri. He'll bring along his wife, Hannah Catherine, and their 10-year-old son, William Lafayette. Both parents will find employment with Franklin Heald at his large mansion, Casa de Campo, on Pole Street. William Charles was a veteran of the Civil War, and so he will become a member of the Grand Army of the Republic. So that's the building on Franklin and Main. He had, he was in the Color Guard and had served a couple of positions there. When Franklin Heald leaves Elsinore in 1895, the Burgesses will stay and remain and make Elsinore their home for the rest of their lives. They worked hard as a family and owned several properties near Pottery Street. William will pass away in 1913, but Hannah and her son will open and build and open an inn on Kellogg in the mid-1920s. So you have the beginnings of what will be a future African-American resort area. And also, as I'm going through, this is Elsinore. We're not Lake Elsinore till 1972. So you'll see a change when we get along in the years. And these are the headstones. The whole family is buried at Elsinore Valley Cemetery. William is in the military area, and then they're here. Okay, so in the 1900s, as we're pushing forward, Elsinore becomes a Southern California resort town. This is an advertisement from 1897. Elsinore, the gem colony of the state. They know and that we have hot springs here, so that's your beginnings with the Crescent Bathhouse, the Lakeview Inn. So this is the Lakeview Inn, about the 1920s. In the mid-20s, so about 1924, the Cleveland Realty Corp will come in, and they will build Country Club Heights. This is Aloha Pier. They build the Cleveland Country Club. There are state homes up there, and also on Grand Avenue, the Showboat with its pier. So there's activity going on. The Santa Fe train station. It's about late 1920s. People are coming to town by way of train. And then you can kind of see the Aloha Pier will then get a second height, so you'll see activities going on through the times. There's your pier, the Showboat, as you're going along. Okay, so by the 1920s, the Reeves have started it. There is a community starting to develop with pottery as their main street. So within the community, you'll find hotels and inns, diners, restaurants, a beauty salon, a barber shop, grocery store, a church. So I've kind of taken a map and marked Hendricks Court is where the Hendrickses live, and Gussie Hendricks will start the Independent Church of Elsinore about the 1920s. This is the Reeves Inn up here. We've got, this is the lunchroom, the Nightingale, the Smith's grocery store. About I believe it's gonna be, yeah, it comes in over here. 1927, Thomas Yarborough and Catherine will arrive. So they live on Post Street, up on this side. And then I have tucked up here by Yarborough Park, in the 40s, Thomas Yarborough will found the Hilltop Community Center. So there's a lot of going on down in here. And then Charlotta Bass lives here, and her garage is set up as a library, a reading room.
What was the Hilltop Community Center?
The Hilltop Community Center was open to everybody, but it's a community center for the people to come in. Yeah, I have the, back in our file room, we have kind of a copy of one of their little pamphlets.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, it's a community that's growing. Those are the ones that I could get as far as addresses. Allison Rose Jefferson did some research here, and chapter 4 of her book, The California Dream, is on Elsinore. So she was able to find some of these addresses. So that's what I put up on a map for us. People come into the museum and they're trying to figure out, where is that place that you're talking about? And we're pointing that way in, so I thought, I'll just create a map so that I can show them on the map. Okay. Another thing that's happening besides newspaper, with newspaper advertisements, there's an African-American woman in Los Angeles named Charlotta Spears Bass. She owns and operates the California Eagle, and that's from 1912 to 1951. And she will highly promote Elsinore as a vacation spot. Now she, in 1952, so she'll sell the newspaper. She sells a newspaper, and she accepts the Progressive Party's nomination for vice president. She didn't win, but after her campaign, she will retire to Elsinore. And so this is the lady who has, and this is the photograph of her in her reading room on Hill Street. She'll live here from probably like 53 to 1966, and then she returns to Los Angeles. So different people, different activities. Okay, so why is everybody coming here? And I love the quote, but I'll explain the Green Book. So it was the Negro Motorist Travel Guide. We're talking about a time period when it was not easy for people of color to travel or visit. There were a lot of, this is called the Jim Crow era. And so you think the end of slavery through till we get civil rights in the 60s, there are issues about where you can stay, where you can eat, where you go on the back of the bus. All of that's going on. Well, come to find out, within Southern California, there are 5 cities who were more welcoming to the African American traveler. And so in 1936, Victor Hugo Green, he's a postal worker, he's gonna create and publish it's called the Green Book, that's his name, a safe guide for traveling and vacation spots. So in Southern California, you have Elsinore, Ocean Park at Santa Monica, Eureka Villa at Valverde, Bruce's Beach, so you've heard of Bruce's Beach recently, at Manhattan Beach, and Parkridge Country Club at Corona. Parkridge was the least successful of them, but these are your cities that were easy to travel to. And I love the quote that he has. There will be a day sometime in the near future when this guide will not have to be published. that is when we as a race will have equal rights and privileges in the United States.
Wow.
So Victor, you go.
Just so you know, most of you may or may not have heard there was a movie
Yeah.
called The Green Book. If you have not seen it, please see it. It is really good. It shows, it was in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a film by Peter Farrelly starring Viggo Mortensen and Marsali Ali. It's about their friendship, and he had to drive him across country to
Well, he's-
perform.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's an African American
Yes.
concert pianist
right.
who needs a driver to get him to the different places he's performing. A lot of it, he's kind of heading down south,
Mhm.
and so he's running into those
Right. Really good movie.
laws and stuff like that. But it's a story also about how a friendship
Was
will
established.
happen.
Yes.
Yeah, because they weren't friends when they
Right.
first started.
Right. Very touching.
Mhm.
It was an excellent movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Very
Okie dokie. Okay, so we've got our African American community starting up, and we have a lake, so we need to have a beach. So this is on the plot plan. When you come in the door, it's 1936, and there's a big plot plan. The African American beach is called the Lake Shore Beach Club. So it's on Lake Shore and Kansas before you get to Riverside Drive. Right now it's kind of just a grassy area, but that's where a beach club was set
Tall
up.
grass last time I thought, pretty tall.
Yeah, it rained.
Mhm.
So this shows Thomas Yarborough, he's right here, and his friends enjoying the sun and the waters at the Lake Shore Beach Club. So I think I mentioned, so Thomas Yarborough, arriving in 1927, and he comes and he works for Amy Semple McPherson. So chauffeur, sort of repairs around the mansion and such.
Didn't he build that globe thing too out in front?
Yeah, he built,
What's that called?
the roof of like going up the entrance. Yeah, the dome.
It's quite
Yeah,
neat.
so he also, before he arrived, had skills in upholstery. After he's working for her, he dabbles in real estate, so a lot of different things going along. He's well liked by the community, and in 1948, he is the first African American elected to a city council in California. So then he serves his term. We have some other things going on at the city as we go through, because we're dependent on water. And up there is 1950s, we have a dry lake. So we're kind of having a hard time with tourism in a resort town and stuff.
And it stunk.
But then afterward, in 1960, from 60 to 68, he will return to the city council. In 1966, he's elected mayor. There are, we tout him as first African-American mayor, but there are actually two other gentlemen during 1966 that
Yeah,
are
but he
elected
was
mayor.
elected first.
Yeah, he was.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Now we're going through time, and we'll start, let me give you the rest of the mayors during that time. So we're now in the 70s, we have civil rights movement and all of that. In 1972, the citizens of Elsinore vote to change the name to Lake Elsinore. So that will be the name of our city. We have, in 1977 through 81, Napoleon Knapp Harris. So that will be our second African-American city councilman. He's mayor in 1978. And then we have Brian Tisdale today, city council from 2010 to present. And he's been mayor in 2011, 2015, 19, and last year in 2025. So we went from a time period of you actually voted for your mayor and your city council to now the city council elects the mayor from different. and we lost Tim Sheridan. He can explain that part, but. So in 1976, a group of concerned citizens will meet at the home of Jim McGowan. Now, Jim McGowan came to our city after World War II, so the late 1940s. Let's see, right here. So he's here in the late 1940s. He started and owns a radio and TV repair service. He gets in. He came from Central California. He was kind of an activist, and such as when he got here. And in '76, a group of citizens will ask him if they would help bring the NAACP to Elsinore. So with the help of the Riverside branch, in the application process, a charter was received in 1977 with Virginia Phillips as the president. Jim McGowan will be their advisor, and he will be a future president as we move on. So the local NAACP is branch 1034, known as the Lake Elsinore Southwest Riverside County. So it includes Corona, Norco, to Temecula, Menifee, Paris. And today we have the president with us. And so Rosie Brady will give us a little of what's going on in the branch nowadays.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and it's an honor to be here today representing the NAACP. A lot of people say NAACP, NAACP. What does it stand for? The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's what it stands for. So just to tell you a little bit about us in Lake Elsinore, we've been here for 48 years. We will be celebrating our 117th years as an organization that was started back in 1909. And you may ask yourself, well, what does the NAACP do? What is its mission? So I will read you our mission. It is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all persons, and to eliminate racial hatred and racial discrimination. That's our mission. And the way we do that is through the national office coordinates lobbying, legal action, and national campaigns, while local branches handle community-specific issues. So at the community level, that's our branch 1034. We are the grassroots on the ground for the community. If there's issues that needs to be elevated, those are elevated through the state conference. And we have lawyers at the national office that put policies and procedures in place. We don't have lawyers on staff. We're a small branch, but those issues that we face in our community is funneled through the state conference, and they handle all those issues. But as a branch in Lake Elsinore, we serve all the surrounding cities of Southwest Riverside, and that includes about 9 different cities, which is Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee, Wildomar, Canyon Lake, all of the surrounding Southwest cities. And so we basically have numerous committees, and I'll just name a couple here. And we do have openings for committees. So for example, we have a Veterans Committee, and our Veterans Chair will work with veterans, making sure they know their rights, making sure if there's programs available for them or if they need assistance. And just so you know, for armed services, the goal is to advocate for fair treatment of military personnel and veterans, to provide resources and address discrimination. So we have a Veterans Chair with about 3 committee members, and so they're looking at putting on programs this year for veterans to honor them in different ways for different branches of military, because we know there's Army, Navy, different branches. So they'll be doing celebrations throughout the year recognizing our veterans. We also have Education Chair, and the goal for our education is to eliminate discrimination in education, monitor school conditions, promote parental involvement in educational equity. So we have an Education Chair that puts on an education summit each year. She'll be doing it in April. And what she does is provide the resources to high school students about what they need to know to prepare for college. what forms they need to fill out, what they need to know in advance, things that they need to be prepared for, how to determine what you want to go to college for, just making sure they have the tools necessary to make them successful in deciding what they're going to do. And so we do that each year, and that's Dr. Dansby, and that will be in April. And it's usually done here in Lake Elsinore. She usually uses a community center to do that, so we can use any volunteers, any support for any events that we have. You're welcome to attend. We do meet once a month in Lake Elsinore at Grace and Truth Worship Center. We used to meet every fourth Saturday, and as of February, we will be meeting the second Saturday of each month. So effective Valentine's Day will be our first meeting for the change in schedule. One of the other areas, we had a housing chair, but we have an open position, so if anyone's interested in housing, if your background is real estate or housing, and you know the rules, the laws, you know, we want to bring to the community what they need to know, what's changing. What if you want to buy a house? What do you need to know? What are some of the tax rules implications that are changing for you as a homeowner? And so we do have an opening for a housing chair. We do have a health chair that brings us information pertaining to health. As we know, there's always some new issue out for health, whether it's the flu or COVID. So our health chair keeps the community informed on, be prepared, you know, take your shots, you know, see your regular doctor, get your exams, just kind of remind people. Sometimes people can get a little bit laxed in their health. Oh, I feel okay, oh, it's just a headache. So we constantly make sure that our health chair is bringing information to the community. You know, maybe the measles is out this year, or what they need to look out for, or be prepared for, or get your immunizations. We also have a membership chair. So for example, what we do in the community, when there's different events, we will have a table, we will share about the branch to people in the community. A lot of people don't know we exist, and some people do. Again, we've been here 48 years. What I can truly say is people look for what they need. If they don't need us, they don't look for us. But when people have an issue with their children in school, they have an issue on their job that they feel they've been discriminated against or falsely fired, they find us real quick. I don't know if any of you know Miles Ross, but he is our legal redress chair. And so he addressed complaints that come in. So any of you, whether you're a member or not, if you feel that your civil rights have been violated, you can reach out to us. You don't have to be a member. We're not just for Black people, we're for all people. So if you ever need our assistance or support, you can go to our website. We're easy to find. It's NAACP, Lake Elsinore. And so you can definitely go on there, fill out a complaint form, and it will go to Miles, and he will be able to direct you in the way you should go, depending on what your situation is. Now, we don't handle situations where you and your neighbor fighting about your yard or your fence. That's a whole different story. That's a civil issue. But we are a civil rights organization, so we handle those type issues. Also, we have a WIN chair, that's Women in the NAACP, and for that, we have a really great program going on where our WIN chair hosts events for women. We have guest speakers, they speak on topics of things affecting women and children, so we make sure we're bringing that to the community. If they need support in that area, we have a women's chair. So those are just some of the things we do. And again, you all are welcome to join us. We would love to have you be a member. It's only $30 a year, or if you want to be lifetime, it's a different payment. But we are local on the website, Branch 1034, Lake Elsinore. Look for us. Again, we are a nonprofit organization. We don't make any money other than through membership or donations. So please, if you have it in your heart to donate to us, we would appreciate it, because we do try to give out scholarships to at least 4 students each year. And each year we want to try to up that amount, because it's more and more expensive to go to school. So, you know, we try to do our part in the community, and we try to get involved in different events that are happening. For example, this month at Pachanga is the Heart and Stroke and I think you had a flyer here for it. If you can attend that, you can still sign up online, and I think the tickets are $70 a person, $700 for a table. But if you can, that's at Pachanga this Friday, February 6th. And then also the next day, since it's Black History Month, there's the Taste of Soul. And I'm sure most of you know about this. It comes every year. It's at the Marietta Amphitheater at 11 Town Square in Marietta. A lot of different businesses and expos are there, food, people selling information, Black history. Please try to go out and attend. It's free. You don't have to pay to attend. And that will be this Saturday. One of the other things that we are participating in, and it was brought up here about the Buffalo Soldiers at Major George W. Ford exhibit. This is new. It's going to be at the Temecula Valley Museum. If you get a chance, stop by and see what that's all about. The Major George William Ford exhibit honors his military service and that of his fellow Buffalo soldiers. And so visitors are invited to explore the stories of these brave Black men, many of whom transitioned from slavery to service, embarking on a journey of discovery, reflection, and understanding. So that will be February 13th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Civic Center, Conference Center on Main Street in Temecula. And last but not least, NAACP as a branch, we have guest speakers attend our meetings and bring information to the community. And this February 14th, we will have a guest speaker. His name is John A. Henry. He's a director of trial advocacy program from Loyola Law School, and he will be our guest speaker on February 14th at our meeting. Again, we want to make sure that we're bringing information to the community that they need to know. We're trying to even encourage our youth to get involved in law, get involved in politics. Attend your city council meetings. We do attend city council meetings. Tim know that usually we have our fundraising chair, Lauren, come and speak and let them know what's going on. So we have a couple of events for February. As you know, it's Black History Month. So there's a new place in Temecula. It's called Kinfolk's House. And it's in Temecula off De Portola. What they do is they let organizations use their space to have meetings, nonprofits. But if you want to have a wedding or if you want to have events, it is new. It is an option in Temecula, but it's called Kinfolk House. And so if you get a chance, look it up online and support the business or have a meeting there or fun events you can have there. Also, each year we do have Juneteenth event at the Diamond Stadium. Tim is usually there and gets up and speaks for us. So we will be doing Juneteenth at Diamond Stadium. We had way over 1,000 people last year. It was a huge event. It was so much fun, music, dancing, food, vendors. We had a program. And so again, if you want to support Juneteenth, any donations that we get helps us pay for, some of the things that we have to pay for to set up there. So again, that's a little bit about us as NAACP. Please go online, make a donation, become a member. We'd love to have you. Thank you.